Greetings, Marsh here, and welcome to episode 116 of my modded Factorio playthrough. Now that we have tamed the wilderness, we can get back to working on our smelters. Enjoy. And it's probably just going to go up and use a lot of landfill. I could kind of shift it over a bit to use more land, but it's so straight so far. I want to keep trying to make it straight if possible. So what I was thinking we could do is pick up a couple setups at a time, put them in blueprints, and then drop them off up here. And we kind of have some choices on the order and orientation. In a way, we've kind of planned it to work out well for orientation, but still, we need to figure out where to start it. And probably makes sense to do iron and then steel. So I'm thinking we can do our iron up here, and then steel can go next to that. But perhaps we want to do Invar first, because Invar uses steel and nickel, and I want to leave some room on steel to expand to the right, because according to our note, expect more steel with blue research for manganese and silicon. So this potentially might get bigger or more complicated, so we want to leave some room for that. So let's do iron, Invar, steel, and how about the 2 coppers? So let's do 5 things. So we need to drive to the appropriate setups. When we find one, make a blueprint, clean up any poles, and looks good. Then when you pick everything up, the bots will have exactly what they need for building it. Let's grab steel, which is right here. Let's see, we need our iron coil set up. Looks good. We got a lot of stuff we need to clear here. And let's do the copper coils. And 4 blueprints is enough for now. And while those bots are working, let's get ready with any other resources we might need. We're definitely running low on stone products, but I think that's because we stopped producing iron from sapphirite in this base, so we're just not producing very much stone anymore. So as a result, stone is falling behind, but we'll see if we can survive with this. Otherwise, we can deliver more. So we're definitely going to need lots of belts. Most of these run on red belts, so we probably want to have a ton of red belts. But some yellow belts might be convenient. Let's grab like 500 of them. Uh-oh. They got through. That's not good. Well, we're gonna have to fix that. The reason's pretty straightforward, that the this water is considered shallow water and you could walk on top of it. So they can go around here. I think we need to go up there and fix that, because that turret is already kind of damaged. Let's see if we can give the bots more to do while we're up there. I'll just select everything here. Let it work as much as it can. Okay, well if those walls are bad, then I guess we need some more wall. And probably some landfill to try to fix that gap. Luckily, now that those roads are there, we can get back there much quicker than before. It still takes a little while though, because this base is getting to the point where traveling by land actually takes a significant amount of time, even with speed upgrades and better fuel and whatnot. See what we can do about making this a little harder to transverse here. Because if we can walk through it, so can the biters. So this is where the biters would get blocked off. Let's see, so if we put a wall right here, does it stop them? Yes. There we go. Completely closed off. It does create a bit of a blind spot, though, on these turrets. Can we make some more? A little bit. So let's make one of those. Let's just put this right here on the end. Hopefully that fixes any blind spots. Most of the time the biters don't go across the water. I think just in that situation, just because the path was so easy for them to take that they just took it. But under normal circumstances, I don't think they're smart enough to go the long way around, or at least they haven't up until this point. Alright, back to base. Alright, the bots got up. So let's get rid of the rest of this stuff. And we'll probably want to grab a bunch of landfill and concrete. How much of each? I'm not sure. Guess it just depends on how much we got. Let's do 15 stacks of each, since that'll fit in the inventory. And it will very quickly disappear. Actually, probably should just bring all of it, really. Because we've already made it, so it's not hurting anything to take it along. There we go. Now we need to very carefully... Never mind. So much for being careful. Or boot pipes. Whoa. Couldn't stop in time. That pole's in a very weird spot. No, now there's a hole. And I don't have anything to replace it with. Wait, why is this here too? Okay, let's see. So we'll want the iron production to be right around here. But how big do we want it? Let's see. And we'll definitely want space for belt spaghetti. So probably something like this. Which means right around to the top of that natural gas is where we want the landfill to come completely over. And then down. We'll probably need even more than that, but that's a starting spot. So, let's just grab landfill and see how quickly all of this disappears. Looks like we'll have some fish we'll need to clear too. Okay, so right around to the top of this. So like right here. And let's just go down and see where this lines up. Almost. And back up. And there we go. That's the amount of space we need. Let's see what we can do about grabbing all these fish. Well, they're definitely causing damage to the walls, but they're holding for now. I don't mind necessarily that the walls receive a little damage, because if they receive any more, we can put a bot network out there to keep them fixed up. Just as long as they hold and they're not, like, being destroyed. Oh, I mean, that one's kind of weak, but... We might have to put some bots out there to keep it repaired. Okay. We're landfilled in. That actually wasn't that bad. We still have some landfill left over. It still took most of it, though. So our factory's been building landfill for this whole time, and that's basically all we've collected. We can make a lot more down here at our stone processing. We just don't have these turned on right now, but these certainly could produce a ton of landfill if we needed it. Let's see what we can do about centering this. I'm not sure exactly how much space we want, because we want to leave room for potential expansion here. Alright, probably lined with the bottom of our character right here. So, like, right there. We need to get a power line here. And actually, we need to get the signal all the way down from the ore bus. So let's do this along here. I was just thinking, we need to leave room for this train track to go up there. Which might involve moving that whole thing. Let's say we want to leave it clear up to here. Yeah, that's a little too close. Shucks, I have to pick it up. So we'll want it, like, right there. And there we go. That gets us connected to the signals. Okay, so while that's being set up, we need to deliver the ingots. So if I recall, these 4 inner belts are iron, and then this one is the manganese, and this one is silicon. So we're gonna have 4 belts go up here. And then they need to join. And it's not going to be completely straight, but that's okay. We just do what we can. Then we need a silicon to go in there. And then manganese to go up there. So where's manganese at? Over here. So it'll go like up there. And through here. And silicon, which is right here. So when we're replacing these, we need to be cognizant of how big some of these gaps are. Because we don't want it to get too nuts, but it probably won't be. It'll just be a little spaghetti. That's to be expected. Okay, let's get the signals in here. So let's see if this is working correctly. It is, where it's taking just the silicon signal out. This one hasn't been placed yet. But we can cut these off and at least get the resources delivered. So there goes the ingots, and I have disabled this, so it's going to run down to just 200. So it's really just acting as a resource splitter here. Hey, that got connected. So there we go, there's our 2.6K. And add manganese. And add silicon. Okay, the ingots are mostly here. Looks like this is mostly set up. Just got to get the end on here. Okay, all these wires should be connected now. It looks like they are. So when we hover over, we have our 2 signals of silicon and manganese. So the way this is set up now is, since this is empty, it has turned on every single iron inserter, And the silicon inserters have not been turned on because they need to have at least 40,000. And there is not an overload of silicon, so they will not run. However, the iron on this side will run, based on the fact that this tank is empty. And on this side, we have this connected, but there's actually no logic that will always use the manganese. So let's see how this works. There we go. Filling up on molten iron. All these machines are slowly filling up. But we still need to have the water connected, so they're not going to run quite yet. But we can kind of see how this operates. Where this is going to go up to about 20,000 iron. And then all of these mill inserters stop. Meanwhile, the outside ones are still turned on because they have higher priority. Silicon has been disabled. We don't have enough ore for it, but the manganese will keep running until it runs out, or it tops off this tank at 40,000. Okay, now that this is at 40,000 or above 40,000, it has stopped. Wonder how much power that used. Well, I guess it didn't use much of anything. Because we had a surplus of ingots. Okay, we needed water for this. And I think I determined that it would be a little too min-maxy to try to have an exact number of water pumps for the exact number of setups. So let's just have one pump per setup, since it does use a significant amount. And let's see. It might be kind of problematic to put the pumps right here, because we're going to have a bunch of train stations and whatnot here. So all this stuff might have to move. But that's okay. If we just have to pick up a few pumps and move them down, it should be fine. And hopefully, yeah, when we pick them up, they don't leave that graphical error because it wasn't an upgraded save. So that'll be kind of annoying having to pick these pumps up. But I just want to make sure everything works, so this should be good enough for now. Okay. Water's in there. These are all turning on. Levels going down. And now only the manganese is running. Although it doesn't have the capacity to completely keep up. It only has half the capacity, so if it falls behind, the center iron will run. But making coils. The iron tank is falling behind. So now it's being offset by iron from just iron ingots as opposed to manganese. I noticed the belts don't seem to be fast enough. Did I make a miscalculation there? It says 6.7. Oh, I guess that makes sense because we did 8. Well, no, we did 7, so it should be getting to here. Did I do the right furnace type? Yeah, induction furnace 2. Oh, I see why. It's because it's pulling off for both sides, that only the machines on the right are running with manganese, and the machines on the left are working on filling up this tank. So they're actually fighting for the same resources. Which is a little problematic, and these are going to fill up to 200 each, which is going to be significant. Well, let's shut this down for a second. We can use a priority splitter to have 2 different belts, but one of them gets ingot priority. So let's cut this up and just put it 1 space over. Might cause a problem with the power poles now, because we can have a splitter here with the priority on the right. We don't need to have a filter. So the belt on the right will always get ingots before the one on the left. And now we gotta fix all the power poles, because they're spaced one space over. And unfortunately, all the wires got removed. Luckily, they remember all of their settings. But it is a little hard to see which ones are connected and which ones aren't. Okay, I think that's all of them for this side. Let's see how it works, and then we can mirror it to the other side if it does. There we go. Now the manganese is getting priority. Oh, but that doesn't reach all the way. Looking better. It's kind of a little dark on the edges here, though. So we're going to have to convert this side to do the same thing. Okay, a little modification, but the setup seems good now. Everything is calmed down. Lots and lots of sheet coils scattered across all those machines. Let's do copper, which is right next door. And it's very similar. But we don't have to produce different alloys, so we can just plop it right down here. Although leaving some space might be good for future technologies where there are potentially alloys. So you don't necessarily want to just smash this right in here. Kind of want to have them all spaced fairly evenly. Well, the copper only has 4 lines of these, so if we just do a quick copy of something like this, we can get an idea for how big it would be and how much space there would be in between. So probably something like this. We want to be able to drive between these if possible. So something like this. So when we place it, we would want to line it up with that machine right there. So that would allow us to have that extra line of alloy machines on there. Okay, so if we get rid of this, get rid of all that stuff there, it should just plop on our spot. There we go. Everything's lined up and straight. We need to get power over here. We don't need the ore signal, but we'll just keep it moving along. And now we have 4 copper belts we have to get up there, which is right here. And we're going to need more copper belts for other things as well. So we might have to move some of these belts around, maybe have them coming off the side of the warehouse. We need to get some water in here. Let's just use this because it works just fine. Okay. I think we're good to test this one. So because there's no alloys or anything with copper right now, the only thing that's going to happen is they're just going to fill up this storage tank as much as they can, and it's just going to get turned into coils with no advanced logic here. How's the power now that we're at the morning? Okay, so we really didn't consume that much power overnight. I am worried about our accumulators being insufficient. But so far they're holding. So looking good. Building up a little bit of copper. These machines are slowly getting what they need. Delivering lots of copper coils. It's kind of amazing the entire factory's output is going to be condensed down to this one red belt of resource. This is probably going to take quite some time to fill up. So let's let it. Probably should have brought some train tracks just to move them up here as placeholders. Because I'm guessing that this train track, since it's so close, it's probably going to be the track that actually picks up the finished resources. Like it's going to come up here and like swing in or something like that. And then all the train stations are going to be along here. Need more landfill for that, but then they have most of their path to get back, where they would come down here, probably go around the base, like right here, and then maybe up, and then all of the train stations would take up this space once all that gets removed, something like that. This bus is fairly temporary in position. I have the feeling that we're going to start making multiple buses fairly soon, like when we start working on new types of science, just to make this simpler and smaller. So we'll probably use our new space for that, so we'll go significantly farther away. But for now, we can use existing infrastructure. But we want to make sure there's actually space in here for the train to be built. So let's put a marker right here and say we can't extend beyond that. Let's make it 1 over. Like right there. Looks like we need more landfill. Missed a spot. Let's get some more bricks. It's interesting to see all this in full effect. Seems to be going nice and smoothly. Of course, we had a huge overload of copper, so this is exactly what the base needs right now. And it actually got rid of the overload. It looks like that cleared up room to make zinc again, which we are slowly doing. Let's make a storage warehouse here so we can actually pick these up. Well, I guess it's not really necessary because each one holds 1,000 concrete, so I can just pick them up out of the machines for now. So we need some more space out here. That's the end of the landfill. I wonder if we have anything else stored up here, or is that all of it? Nope, that was all of it. We'll probably want to start up landfill production soon here. Okay, so we needed to do our steel production, which is very small, but it will be able to be later expanded if necessary. And then here is the oversized Invar setup. And let's line it up here. So it's actually not that big. So let's make a few more squares worth of landfill out here. So now we know the positioning. I think we wanted to do the Invar first. So the nickel has less distance to travel. Let's see, let's make a belt here, just to help us keep it lined up. And then we want to leave some space in here. Maybe like this. No, I put them too far over. Something like that. There we go, lined up. So I believe this works by having 2 belts of steel on the outside and the Invar comes in on the middle. Looks like we're running low on belts here. I want to try to have this be a distance that the undergrounds can jump, which I believe is 9 spaces. For red. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, 10 spaces. So we can have these be 10 spaces wide at its widest point, so we still have some space here. Let's see, where is nickel? I think it's right here. Yep. The colors all start to blend in with each other after a while. We'll just go straight over where the tracks would be. fix it later. And we'll need to have probably a 3-to-2 balancer or something, but the train station can handle the balancing of all of these ingots, so we don't really need to worry too much about those belts. Okay, then we have 2 belts on the outside of steel, but we're probably about to run out here. Okay, we have everything we need here. There's no advanced logic or anything for Invar. It should just run normally. Oh, the signpost doesn't copy? Oh, that's annoying. Lesson learned, I guess. Well, I guess we have to redo this then. Okay. Well, that's kind of annoying that those don't survive blueprints. Still, though, it's quite useful to have. Okay. Let's see if Invar works. This is actually twice as fast as our factory can produce. That is okay. I see a red there. It seems like they're not keeping up with steel. Okay, so we need 2 inserters for steel. Seems better now. That's sort of filling up. And those very quickly filled up, and now they're gonna hit 200 each. I hear trains. Okay. We need to pick up some belts and then we can continue building. See, more damage. Oh, it's holding. Ah, it's nice watching everything go at full power. You can definitely see how once this warehouse ran out of its buffer, now it's just 1 red belt's worth. Looking good. Kind of want to eyeball the rest of the system, see how it's working. Power is doing alright. It's interesting that this isn't going at full speed. I would have thought that it would. I guess it's mostly full speed. And they're being mostly supplied by the catalyst production. Overloaded on tin still, but copper is working its way down. And manganese is basically gone, so now that that warehouse got below 20,000, see, the crushed ferrous mixture turned on. There's a stop signal for the cupric mixture, but ferrous can run, and it's producing manganese, which is instantly being used to make the iron go farther, and then the rest of the iron is going down there. I wonder if we're using lubricant any. Because we have this set up to accept mineral oil. Haven't really checked how many barrels are here. 18,000. I don't know if that's more or less than we had before. But presumably that system is working. We've cleared out the geodes. And we've got some slag and crushed stone. Seems to be running. Crystallizers haven't turned on because of the logic we set up, and we haven't really ever been overloaded on stone right now. So they still have a long way to go before they're completely filled up. And here's sulfuric acid, which is running. And we're at 29,000. I think we wanted the stop signal to be 50,000, so we're almost full on that. Which is going to require a retrofit of every single system that generates any kind of acid products, because they're sized for assuming that the hydro plants that are recovering the wastewater are recovering it and sending it back into the system. So if we're overloaded on the acid products, then we can no longer recover that water, and then these hydro plants are vastly undersized, because I believe that you can recover 70% of the water by using these, which means this is only 30% of the total production that this is going to need. And that's going to apply to every single thing that uses those. Most significantly is probably all of these, which only have 2 freshwater plants, and they have 5 of these, so there's not a lot of space to do that. We'd probably have to get rid of these clarifiers and put them somewhere else. Like, it's going to be kind of a pain. What can you do? Fortunately, it's kind of hard to dump sulfur. I suppose we could be producing acids using sulfur, other acid types, to get rid of it, but that's less efficient. Let's see, what could we put sulfur into? Explosives. That actually might not be the worst thing we can do. We are waiting on that military science. But there are things we can do with it, so it's possible that given some time, we can just find ways of dumping it into other resources. Let's just leave the system as is, considering how involved it would be to upgrade everything. And just deal with it. Oh, I don't have enough space. Just deal with it when the system gets overloaded. Let's see, I'm actually going to shut this down. Put all this concrete back into the system. Let's do steel now. We definitely want to leave lots of space for potential expansion here. So, like, over there. We just have our 1 belt. Okay, let's see how this works. Yeah, it's like before where they're a little behind. Looks like we were missing a pipe here. There we go. And look at all that glorious steel. We need to go back and create some more blueprints and come back here. But that's going to have to wait until the next episode. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.